YouTube, what's going on? It's been about a couple months, but I'm back. Got some things on my mind that I want to talk about. So this might kind of be like rapid fire. Might push out a few videos just talking about random stuff that I've been having on my mind since I last posted. But what I want to talk about today is the concept of a friend. Okay. And specifically what people consider a friend. And so, ever since I was young, one thing that I noticed that people did was how quickly they would label someone or give someone the title of a friend. And I would notice that these interactions were rather superficial. You know, they weren't really based on anything deep or meaningful. You know, it was more so surface level, or how you look. You got matching shoes. I got those same pair of shoes at home. Like really surface level, superficial stuff. And I would always ask myself, like, your friends just based on those things? Like, you don't care about this person. You don't care about their integrity. You're not looking for hidden meanings. You're not looking for ulterior motives. You're not looking for underlying behavior. You're not looking at the way that they treat other people. You're basing this whole quote unquote friendship on something superficial. And as I got older, that line of thinking became more prominent. And even now today, I see grown ass adults doing the same thing. And so it never baffles me. Well, it does baffle me, but it never surprises me the outcomes of these quote unquote friendships. Because usually the result is some kind of major betrayal, even tragedy, heartbreak. And it never surprises me because in my mind, I saw that coming a mile away. I saw it coming a mile away. And I just wonder if people are that, I'm not gonna say dumb, but you get what I mean. That they can't see it either. Or they just don't care. They don't care to acknowledge and assess the red flags that they're clearly being presented when dealing with other people. It makes no sense to me. And so I'm of the belief that it takes years to know whether or not you truly have a friend. I don't believe that you can gauge the true integrity, intentions of a person in just a few interactions. I think it takes years because people are like onions. You got to peel those layers back, and it takes time. You have to see this person in different seasons of their lives. You have to see how they treat people. You have to see how they talk about people, how they talk about themselves. What are their habits? How do they communicate? Like, it's so much that goes into determining whether or not you truly have a friend. Patterns. All these things are important. And so needless to say, I don't have a lot of friends. And I don't want a lot of friends. Because my rule of thumb, and this is just personally me, this is just something I came up with. But if you have more than a handful of friends, you don't have any friends. If you have more than a handful of friends, you don't have any friends. Because I'm sorry to tell you, but there are just not that many genuine, truthful people with high integrity. There's just not. And the state of the world is a testament to the kind of people that's in the majority in this world, in this society. So I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer, or I'm not trying to be a downer, I'm not trying to kill people's hope or anything like that. But I have to call it what it is. And so I think it is highly unwise to go around just trying to take on friends, calling people your friend and not really knowing anything about them. You haven't studied them. You haven't actually spent time with them. You haven't actually talked with them, assessed their behaviors, body language. Because you can tell, look, one thing that I tell people is that people can lie, but their energy cannot. People will lie, but their energy will not. And once you get into that, how can I say it? Once you get into that, get comfortable with that process of assessing people's energy, you'll get a lot better at picking friends. Because, I can have somebody in my face who's pretending, to be a friend. But I'm paying attention to your lack of eye contact. I'm paying attention to your body language. I'm paying attention to how you respond to the little bone that I throw at you about the problems that I have in my life. Which probably aren't even true, but I'm just seeing how you react, because that's gonna tell me how you really feel about me. So things like that, it's necessary to test people. And not in the way that you're manipulating them, but in a way that you're confirming their intentions. Confirming whether or not they are who they say they are, or are putting themselves forth to be. So yeah, that's one thing I don't understand with the whole friends, just calling people your friends and you don't know anything about them. You haven't spent any significant time with them. It's just wild to me, and I don't see how people do it. I've personally had to correct a couple people, to refer to me as their friend. I didn't do it publicly, but I kind of pulled them to the side when I had a chance. I said, hey, look, as far as us being friends, that's not a thing. I understand that I associate with you regularly and things of that sort, but I would like to ask if you could refrain from referring to me as your friend. Because I'm not your friend. I don't know you like that. You don't know me like that. And of course, they get butt hurt or whatever, but that's fine, I don't care. Because only those who have been truly vetted and have displayed, that they are genuine, authentic people can assume the title of being my friend. It is a privilege to be my friend, not a right. It is a privilege to know me on a personal level, not a right. So, yeah, that's just one thing that I see out every day, and it's just mind-boggling to me, and I just feel sorry for people who who walk around, calling people their friends, and they don't know they don't even know who they're dealing with. So yeah, these are my first thoughts. I have more things I want to talk about, so I'll be back.